Samsung releases a lot of cool devices every year, and if you're a fan, you're among many people who are eagerly waiting for the next lineup of Samsung smartphones. Now promptly Samsung is going to unleash their S23 lineup. Now let's quickly discuss about everything about that. Although the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 and the Galaxy Z Fold 4 make for some of the best Android phones that you can buy right now, but there's plenty of users who still want to stick with the classic smartphone design. Now this year's Samsung Galaxy S22 series blew us away with an excellent refined design, solid performance and the rebirth of the Note series. Now we are expecting a similar pattern for the Galaxy S23, which is going to be launched next year, which is going to come with some slight design changes, improved performance and maybe a couple of surprises in it as well. Now let's start with the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra's design, as it's the most powerful of the three smartphones and it's also the most similar to the previous one. Now early renders show that the S23 Ultra looks nearly unchanged, right down to the unique camera lineup on the back. Also, the phone is slightly less curvy compared to the last year's model, along with some modifications to how far the lenses stick out. As for the S23 and S23 Plus, Samsung is taking some design cues from the S22 Ultra. The camera bump that has become the signature style for S series over the last couple of years is finally gone and replaced by a replica of the lenses from the S22 Ultra. As for the chipset, early rumors indicate that the company would stick with Qualcomm, and in this case likely the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, potentially for all the markets. Now coming on towards the camera, the big news for Samsung Galaxy S23, specifically the Ultra variant, concerns its rumored 200 megapixel camera. Although we don't expect the sensor to be much larger than the other phones on the market, but still it's an impressive number regardless. And the camera might also use an unreleased ISO cell HP2 sensor as well. Meanwhile, it sounds like the S23 and S23 Plus will keep the 10 megapixel telephoto lens from the last year's model. And considering the camera modules on both phones look identical, we aren't too surprised to see some consistency between generations. Now as for the availability and the release date of the smartphone, Samsung usually drops its latest S series in the first quarter of the year, and it's looking like that'll happen for the S22 as well. Now the Samsung Galaxy S22 series wasn't cheap, and the smartphone prices are also continuing to increase because of the inflation and supply chain issues. Now there's still plenty of time for more leaks as we rapidly approach towards the end of the year, so expect more news on the Samsung S23 or over the coming weeks.